I got my private pilot's license when I was a senior in high school.
Who's this young, handsome guy way up here?
Uh-oh, that was me. I went to Stanton Military Academy, if you ever heard of that, in Stanton, Virginia. And that was me in the beginning, and that's how I ended up.
What was your rank, by the way?
I'm retired commander. You know about the Battle of the Bismarck in the Hood?
Okay.
I was in the middle of that on a British cruiser. Of course, during World War II, when I was in the Coast Guard the whole time, it was primarily the Battle of the North Atlantic, which meant anti-submarine work, escorting convoys and sinking submarines and like that. Service in the North Atlantic, as you probably know, it was dirty, rough service, rough weather all the time. Winston Churchill said that the Battle of the North Atlantic was the most important battle of the war. He said if we'd lost that, we would have lost, because England would have been cut off. That's why it was so important. I have been in 6 plane crashes, all in the service. And that is because, during most of the peacetime years afterward, I was a rescue pilot, helicopter and seaplane rescue. I got the broken neck primarily taking off in a seaplane, lost an engine, and like that. I was served during the Korean War, too. And we did rescue work off the coast of Korea. When our guys got shot down, we had I had a big seaplane, and we'd go in there and land and rescue them.
Do you have any idea how many lives you saved over the years?
I would say probably at least 50 or 60.
You've got so much on the walls around here.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, my wife died 5 years ago. She had Alzheimer's. That's why I'm in a house that's more than I need. I decided to stay here. So I decided to fix the place up. There are some of the many planes that I flew. Did you see those over there?
I did.
There's the seaplanes and the helicopters and all of that. That's the one that I flew Eleanor Roosevelt in. And actually, she came up and looked in the cockpit, and she said, "May I come and sit down?" Eleanor Roosevelt flew as my co-pilot for 5 minutes. I almost got killed twice during the Cold War. I was flying along the coast of Alaska, going up to one of our Arctic stations, and I was following a radio signal. And after the weather was bad, and after a while, I got a look down below. I could see I was not on the right track. And I got down there and looked. They had set up a decoy radio station in Russia and transmitting on that signal, and they were trying to get me to come in and fly over Russia so they could either shoot me down. They wouldn't have shot me down. They would have forced me down for a big publicity, propaganda thing. And I spotted it. I spotted it just before I went into Russian waters. Now that was a close one. I have a bunch of clippings. I saved the newspaper clippings. Sometimes I would get notice for that. This one, I was stationed in San Diego, and I'm flying a helicopter, and there were a couple of high school boys who were in the mountains of Baja, down below Tijuana.
Yeah.
And they were camping, and after 3 days they hadn't come back. So they asked the Coast Guard to go in and look for them, and I did that. I went in with the helicopter, spent 2 days, and finally found them in the mountains and brought them back, and they were very grateful. They wrote me a letter, and it was very nice. At the bottom, it said, "Thank God for Bob Adamson and the U.S. Coast Guard." I mean, that is a wonderful thing.
You have some famous people up here.
Oh, that's Jimmy Durante, you know, recognize him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my father. And you know who that is?
Who we got here?
Clark Gable. Clark Gable from Gone with the Wind.
Who's he with?
And that's my mother. That's my grandfather. He was a congressman for 25 years. He founded the U.S. Coast Guard.
Not all the faces on the wall are human.
Yeah, that's Throckmorton. His whole name was Throckmorton Gildersleeve Cowber Burton, and there he was. He was a Siamese gibbon ape.
And where'd you get him?
In the Philippines. We got him out of the jungle. Actually, he came into our jungle station and was hungry, and we fed him something, and he decided to stay. Every time we'd start up the engines, he'd run out and jump in. Of course, when the Admiral found out that we were doing that, he said, "You get that damn animal out of here."
Did you?
Yeah, I got rid of it. I transferred him to another station.